Okay, happy 2022, happy new year. Okay, so today I'm going to, not today, just in the last video I just made an hour ago, and then go have some lunch here, and it's still uploading. It's quite large. I find that microphones was not quite set. So in the second part of Canadian compile, the GCC, we're going to build a crossback torsion, which means we're going to use the G++, compile them, and we compile a GCC crossback torsion. They're going to compile Linux program on Windows. But here's the one thing here, is that if we just do that, we can do that. But I guess some headers won't set correctly as we would expect. Because there's some issues with this Linux distribution. They will try to modify the torsion. After they modify the torsion, they don't quite compile with the torsion anymore. Anyway, we're gonna just start the show here. So first, ensure you have watched the previous video. Probably there's some video audio issues, but at least you need to have a native torsion, right? If you don't have native torsion, what you can do is, right, you have to upgrade your GCC. So in the second part, we basically do a Linux compile Linux here, but we first need to build a cross compiler to compile Linux x86-64. We give it a name, for example, x86-64 Ubuntu Linux kernel. You can set whatever this name what you want. The reason I'm doing that is because if we want to run a crossback compilation, I think I maybe want to try that, but I don't want to waste time on this video. But I still want to show you how to cross compile the native torsion. Okay, you could just take a GCC here because libraries are installed differently. A lot of problems are not dealing with differently. So what you can do is very similar to the previous one we need to do. But here we need another two things, okay? Since on Windows we are using MinGW for the libc, on Linux, what we need is glibc. Okay, what we need is glibc, that's it. However, glibc, okay, I'll still uploading. glibc also relies on Linux kernel header files because it needs the headers to perform some jobs here. It doesn't just directly using all the things from the torsion itself, it also relies on the Linux kernel header file. Because of that, we also need to clone Linux, the Linux repository. Okay? So let me ensure I don't have any selection here. No, I hope I don't have all sorts of bullshit with. Oh, okay, no. So we have that thing here. We have our Linux installation. We report binge.gdb. But here's the thing. Here's the important thing here. Is that with glibc, okay, glibc, we cannot just use this glibc because this glibc is very new, okay. But on our versions of Linux distribution, it's 2.31. Unfortunately, these Linux distribution, like Ubuntu, whatever, they modify the Linux, they modify the glibc. That causes an issue is that when we try to build programs glibc, they will not be binary compatible. We will get a kernel panic because Now the libc version doesn't match it. So to avoid that kind of issue, the only thing we can do is that we need to compile, we need to get the version that is matches our kernel. Okay, matches the kernel version we are using. Then we can see how to clone, how to switch to another branch. Okay, we need to switch branch here. On GC you can just do LDD version, and it will tell you what version we are running here, right? If we're using Ubuntu 2004, which is probably most people are using, is 2.31. If we're using the latest one, which is Ubuntu 21.10, which is not release version, which is not LTS, long support version, right? Long time support version, right? It is 2.34. So you need to check which versions of your glibc. Then go to the glibc here to clone the branch your version is installed. If you're using your own distribution, that'll be very simple, right? You already know how to use your own one. You can just upgrade whatever you want. Upgrade glibc, doesn't matter. It won't cause any issues, but it will cause issue on this machine. I don't know how to upgrade glibc. I think probably what we can do is not use libcrypto. I haven't tried that. Maybe we can have a try, but I think we're probably gonna have a very serious issue with it. Yeah, and I don't know our risk for that. So with that, we build with the existing one with 2.34, and we get it. Okay, we get 2.34. Now, so on this version is 2.31. We wanted that we need to, I think, check out a branch, right? A branch. Check out a branch. Check out which branch is a glibc 2.31. You need to ensure the version matches. You might have other versions with it. You need to ensure your glibc version matches the right version. Since this version is using glibc 2.31, then we need to just clone this branch with git checkout branch. Okay. Okay, glibc just checkout. Then git pull, I think, should be done. If you're using 2.34, you probably need to check out 3.31, right? And whatever you want, here is just 2.31 thing. So with that, we can start our compilation. We still go to the we port four things: glibc 2.31. And we port GCC, and we go to Linux kernel, right? Linux kernel. We need to port the Linux kernel to the latest version, just I mentioned before. Then we go for cross. We have already installed the right, this one, right? Just in the last video. Then we're gonna create a new version. So export target. We can just remove the last one we just built here. We don't need that anymore. And what we can do is we create a new directory, differentiate them, Linux GNU, right? It's called Linux GNU is because it's using glibc. If you're using muscle, then it's not GNU, it's muscle. Okay, so what we still need to do is just like what we do in the last video. We use bin utils, right? And still do this with Python 3. I just like what we do with native portion. This is going to prefix cross. Okay, this is going to. Okay, this is another thing. Don't put home to another directory. Don't put a root. Right? You have no way to recover from it. Please never use to do when you're doing cross or Canadian. You don't need that. Okay. So we also need to enable Go linker. Because we compile ELF binary, we can enable Go linker here. Go linker. Okay, so what we also need to do here is that we need to go to the Linux kernel directory and install the kernel header file, so-called make headers. Oh. Should be make headers installed if I do it correctly. HDR path. That when you put arc, okay. x66, 64. Home cross. Okay, go to the directory we just put here. Install the Linux kernel header files. Okay, we just install headers. Okay. If you want to do Canadian compilation, you can, like what I did, just put another directory here. Just install those headers, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, so now it's installed here. The Linux kernel header files is installed here. Okay, so we have all the Linux kernel headers we need. It is not to ask you to compile the kernel, okay? It's not arbitrary compile, cross-compile kernel. No, it's not. It's just to install the header files. Okay. We can go here and go here and see what's going on here. Right. It's the x86 inside x86 that include. Okay, so we can see the Linux, right? Secondly, of course, is the GCC, right? Just like what we did before. Now prefix, whatever, what do we want, whatever, doesn't matter. But here it's quite different, okay? It's quite different. It's completely different here. Okay. We can just try to pour it again to see whether we can get some GCC output. You can just every time you build it, you port it to ensure we get as latest version as possible during our build process. So, and the difference here is that we need to build GCC for twice. The scripts we're going to use is using the from the Linux from scratch, but we're going to do it differently. We can leave some part with it, and to ensure I don't miss anything. But here we're going to do is I'm going to do that very differently. Okay, so we'll still enable languages, but we're not going to disable so many things here, because I find that even with disable so many things, it's still sometimes install those things it's not required. We don't care about that. We disable threads. We disable decimal float. We disable shared. We need enable mutilate. But okay, we need to put with multivariable list, we cannot just enable multilate. We need to enable multilate with M64, MX32, and M32. Okay, just like what we did in the native torsion, and we don't care about all this shit anymore. Disable ARS, disable header without headers, and with new leaf. Okay, without headers, with new leaf. Then we get the okay. I enable that shit again twice. We don't do that. We'll put a target. Okay, we put a target here. We put a target with target x86, 64, Ubuntu, Linux, GNU, prefix, cross. Right, just like we did before. Let's just check whether the last installation is correct. Yeah, no problem. Disable threads. Only disable threads, okay. No threads, okay. No threads. No shared library. Threads. Disable share, okay. Without headers, with new leaf. Do we put in with new leaf here? I just find quite the with new leaf are quite best here. It's quite messy here. Anywhere else? Okay. Anywhere else? Disable point. Shared enable float. M86. It should work. Okay. So now we're going to do is that we compile our target leave GCC here. So now we are building the compiler, phase 1. Okay, we're going to build the compiler again after this phase, but it'll be a different story. Okay. I think they should provide. Let me see whether they have this. It doesn't show they have a thing here, so we still need to manually tweak these things around because it'll be hard-coded path. I don't know whether they have the option to avoid that. Quite ridiculous. Don't care. We don't care about that shit. Sound, manage sound device. No. Manage sound, right? Okay. Troubleshoot. Let me see whether the last videos. Oh, speed up. That video is quite large. Since I explained a lot. Wait, why is G++? Oh, it should be G++, yeah. Did I put the correct target here? Maybe I should go back to check, right? Go here to ensure I did the right thing here. Makefire. Yeah, the target, the prefix. Okay. We will be able to see that in the makefire or config file. Yeah. The config.log here to see what is our settings here. I think probably just with sysroot you could just avoid entire stuff, but I'm not going to do that. Clear out. Binaries. Doesn't matter. Okay. Let me have some sort of why? This linkage step is quite slow, just this step, I remember, right? It's because it links a very large file, probably. Well, this machine is running on other thing right now. I don't know why it's so slow, this step. Okay, we've done this step. We've done the step. Okay, we have finished compiling and leave GCC. So what we're gonna do is install string GCC J, and install string target leave GCC J. Okay. All right. We have installed the GCC and target leave GCC. So now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna compile glibc. But glibc, since we have 3 libs, okay, we need to create 3 directory. One for M32, the other is MX32, and the other one is of course M64. Now the first one we're gonna test. We're gonna just enter MX32. So compile glibc is another mess. Okay, just holy crap, right? Just the glibc just holy crap, you know. So we cannot go to the glibc itself. Like I said, we need to go to the glibc 2.31. Okay, probably I'm going to just ensure again we don't get the wrong version since I switched it again. So we're gonna see what the version is. Yeah, it tells us 2.31. So we go to 2.31 for the config, right? But the way we're gonna config is that we need to put CC equals, no, not GCC, but MX64 Linux GNU GCC. Okay. CXX, put in MX32 here, okay. And x86 64, we bound to Linux GNU G++, MX32. Put glibc here, then put disable NAS, disable WR, enable add-ons. Should be enable add-ons. Is it enable errors or something like that? Let me just show. Error. GDC enable error. Yeah, it should be enable errors like this. Okay. Enable errors. Okay. Target. So we need to put build here. Build is x86-64, Ubuntu, Linux, GNU. But the host is quite different. It's x86-64, not x86-64. No, it's x86-64, Ubuntu, Linux, GNU, x32. Okay. Then we put target. No need target. But we need to put the prefix here. The prefix will not just directly install to the place we want to install. We want to put that in a subdirectory. Okay. For example, call it GCC. Okay, whatever you want, but don't put in the directory itself, since we need to manually tweaks after doing that. Okay. So we make J, and we compile the x86 to 32.1. It takes some while. Okay, then we install. But we cannot make install script. You find that we cannot install script. The only thing you can do is make install J. Okay. Okay, so here we have the x32 versions of GCC. Now go to M32. We do the same thing, but here I'm going to M32. Okay, I should put that in MX32, whatever. but here the thing is different. Okay, here is x I60686 here. It's no longer that part. M32. Here is also M32, not MX32. Okay. Okay. So what we are doing right now is that we compile the 32-bit versions of GDC. Finally, we're going to compile the 64-bit GDC. Right, with 64 is that we don't need anything. Okay? We don't need to put the linkage here. Okay, we don't need to put CC and GCC here. Okay, since the torsion itself is 64-bit, then there's no point to do that. Let me just check the good conf share here. Okay, then we make it solve, of course. Install all the libs to here. Okay. So now. Okay. Yeah, I did not show one thing here. You need to put this one in the past too. Don't forget to do that. Just like we did here. Since I've already done that, I can just do x86 Ubuntu Linux GNU. We could which one? We could which no. Yeah, this one, right? We go to here. So we're gonna do several things with the GCC here. Okay, so the thing is that this thing I should do first, right? GCC auth, right? Whatever. We need to copy those three. Right? So how to do that? So first thing, let's go for this directory. Now what do we need, okay, is that we need to use x86 64 Linux GNU strip our needing to strip all the binary here. Okay, strip all of them. Okay, strip all of them, go to audit, strip all of them. Go to gconf, strip all of them. Okay, then in the directory, it should have another directory, if I remember correctly. Whatever, all those directory. Then what we're gonna do is that we're going to we're gonna list here to see which one is one. You will have a lot of things that just completely one. Just similar link, I think. Okay, what's 1K? Whatever. So, okay, we just saw them with side. These are one. This one thing is just not right. Okay, they cannot be one. So they just link the script, but you can see here is absolute script, absolute path, which is wrong. Okay, which we don't need absolute path because we are doing cross compilation, right? Why do you put that thing here? Let me just show whether we still have one thing here. No. Okay, so this part is done. Okay, then what do we do? We're gonna we put a we put a new whatever it doesn't matter. Copy that glib3 lib to here. Copy R. Okay, but we're gonna rename it as lib32. Okay, we're gonna rename it as lib32. Let me think. It should be lib32 and lib64. Okay, let me just check my existing torch and see what's the directory here. I forgot a little bit. Okay, the lib is 32. So it's quite funny here that lib32 is actually lib. Okay, but we're gonna change it later. Don't care. So we're gonna copy our directory. M64 lib. Here we also copy the lib here. We rename this as lib64. Okay. Now we copy the MX32 here. And rename is as libx32. Strip all, just like what we did. Strip all the binaries. Okay. Strip all the thing here. Since they are not stripped, we're gonna manually strip them. Okay. So we strip all of them and list all of them. I don't know how to list the thing here with this here. So we're gonna sort them with size. Okay, you can see all those things are just text edited, just normal files. We don't care. We just edit all of them. Okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They don't matter. You can see just quite a mess here, right? Why do I need to just manually tweaking all those chairs? But it just doesn't work if we don't do that. Oh, I haven't do that. Okay. Oh, it's here, right? I'm sorry. Whatever, just those scripts. Remove all those absolute paths here. Okay. Then put lib64. Okay, we've done. We've done with. Okay, still one thing left. Probably strip them again. Whatever. Okay, strip all the shell libraries here. The strip is unneeded. Don't just strip unneeded. after we strip the binary, what we are going to do is that we need to assemble them. Also, we need to copy the include file here. So from glibc mx32 include, put here. Okay, now put m32 here. Just assemble them together. Okay, m64 here. Right, m64 needs to be the last one. Now we have all the libraries we need. Did I just put enable multi-arc here? Probably. I forgot enable multi-arc. That's why you get x32, 64, whatever. Yeah, probably need to enable multi-arc. Yeah. Okay. So now we have entire GCC installed. Then we copy this directory to a new directory. We just every time we do that, we just give a backup here. So go to news 2. What we're gonna do is that we are going to move this lib32 as lib, right? Now we get the entire thing here. Then we copy all the thing here to the directory here. Okay? I'll get news. This bad. I'm sorry, it's just incorrect. Okay. We just do that in the news too, right? So it should be the news too, not in the news. Okay. Should be something like this. We cannot just continue because, like I mentioned in the last video, it contains bugs, right? So we need to copy the directory lib6. We need to move this directory. No, copy this directory as 64, and copy this x32 directory as 32. And then this is quite mess. Okay. And put 32 in here and put 32. Okay, here is a great mess here. Is that we cannot do this. Okay, I think I remember correctly. It's not this how it works. Leave link script and delete all the files. Delete all of them. Okay, just delete all of them. Oh no, I deleted the wrong file. I deleted file in my cross torture. No. This is incorrect. But doesn't matter. We're gonna produce new one. So in this 64 one, delete everything besides this, right? Because we just installed incorrectly. Doesn't matter. So we still need to put 32 here. But actually, so here's the thing just quite messy with the entire thing here. Is that in the 32, in this lib, it should contain 32. Okay, let's just try again. I don't care. Let me just try whether it will work. I think it shouldn't work. It won't work. Okay. Because of all sorts of bullshit reason, it won't work. If it doesn't work, we could just go back and fix it. Let me just do it again. So this is a thing I just think it's just quite a mess, whatever, right? We're gonna move things around. $64. Okay. No, we need to copy here as 64. Okay. Now we'll copy it again. Copy x32 as x32 here. Yeah. I hope it will work, but quite often it won't. Because it's probably not going to search the 64 we put here. But it will still search lib here. So, which is quite annoying. Okay, it's quite annoying. Okay, now we need to go back and build a second GCC. Okay, in the second, since we already have the GCC, we can make it very easy to do things here. I'll put it again. Let me see whether we have a problem here. Nothing. Okay. Okay, we just use this. Target. Perfect. Let me think. Yeah. Yeah. This should be correct. Oh. Here's the thing, right? It shouldn't contain anything in the native compiler. Okay. Right. Oh no. Because it's not here, right? It's in the directory above that directory. Check triplet, check build host target, then make J. Yeah, we basically rebuild the GCC with it. Okay. Since we already have the library, we don't have the problem with deep GCC. You know, the hardest part is always cross-compile. It's not Canadian compile part. The cross-compile is the hardest part because it always have these libraries not set up for all sorts of reasons. Right. Canadian don't have library issues. You can really disable all the libraries. You don't need care of libraries. Just copy libraries from the cross compiler if Canadian compilation or libraries have any issues. Right. This part is that if you need to use this tool, you can just install it on your machine, on the target machine, but we don't actually need that. Right? In the cross compilation, right? Of course, this is the thing just troubles me a lot, right? Why do you have this lib 64 lib x32 nonsense, right? And you put here, you don't even know where the linkage here. You still have to create another directory inside a directory. So the old sequence is with hypervisor. Binary util. It's GCC. Hypervisor. I think it should be this way, right? Because here is actually installed the way like I would expect it will install. But we're gonna see, right? Whether the installation is correct or not.
library.
In Windows. Okay, here we might encounter issues with it. Because multi-leaves you might have issues, but if this step passed, then we shouldn't have any issues at all. Right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. We have the errors with multi-leaves, right? It cannot find out the correct way, right? It cannot find out the correct shit here. Like you're gonna have issues. So we first install GCC. In later we're gonna fix it. Exactly, behave like I would expect. It's just crap, right? This part is just crap. Let's just view it again. Okay, we just make. Okay, no, we see what exactly the errors here. Okay, now we have, right? It's incompatible with the output because it cannot find out the leaves here. Okay, it's just quite funny with it. Just this part is absolutely ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So I32. And let me just copy 32 here inside this directory. Let's just copy here. Whatever. 64. It will first search here 64. The 32 will be in the 32 directory. Not leave 32, but just 30. Do we actually have leave 32 here? Let's just see what our native version have. Okay. It doesn't have, or it does have lib32. This part is quite funny. Okay, which means lib32 and lib32, they all exist? I don't think that's the case. I don't think we do have lib32 here. There's no lib32. Okay, let me just. This is just what the crap here is. That's why I'm just first doing the libs here, right? Because it just cannot find libs, right? It cannot find libs we need here. And lib should be the lib64 probably. We uninstall. We just delete all the thing here. Put all the thing here too. Let's just move the linker script. Move out the linker script and delete the entire directory. Move it here, okay? And delete entire lib file. Make dir lib, move that LD script back. If we just do that, it won't be able to find libs, right? It won't find the libs we need. So we need to put here move this lib32 to 32. Then move lib x32 to x32 here. Then we still cannot compile it. We can try it. We can have a try to see whether I don't think we will going to. No, we cannot. We won't be able to compile because it will still have that issues. Incompatible. I just cannot find any libs here. Right? It just cannot find libs. So it's because 64 and 32 are here, but x32, x32, they requires put all the thing in the directory. Okay, it requires put all the things. So we remove the leave x32. I think we don't need x32. Gleave C calls. You can see this is quite a mess, right? It's absolutely a mess. I have to say about that, right? It's just absolutely a mess. We go here. I think probably we can just x86 64 1 2. Doesn't matter anymore. I think we can just copy entire directory to here. It's actually this, okay, or home, whatever. Yeah. Okay, let me just not mess things up. News. All right. Oh, this. But we're gonna copy all the files in the lib62 to lib. Okay. Here. Okay. Then we move this lib64 directory. Now it should work, okay, if I remember correctly. Okay, it looks like it works. Well, you can see this is just absolutely bullshit, right? Okay, let's just back it up. Back this entire thing up to a new directory. Okay, do the later. GCC calls. Actually, the Canadian compilation is actually simpler than all the shit we have here, right? Because it doesn't have all the bullshit it would use. Right? I don't think we'll find 32. We can just try it later with Canadian compilation, but it doesn't matter. Quick exit. we just wait. It's no more issues with the cross compilation, because I think with ARC64 you also have multi-leaves, right? But it is just quite a chaos with all sorts of multi-leaf nonsense, right? So these lib files contain, okay, let me explain. Lib directory contains the 64, and it will find 32 and x32 here, not find here. It doesn't find things here, it just finds the lib. Which is ridiculous. Why GCC works this way?